Yes, so in we deal with two type of procurement. First is material procurement, second is service procurement. All tangible things comes under the material procurement, while intangible things comes under service procurement or service management. Here, the common example of services are taxi hiring. Okay, if you had a consultancy firm, okay, these are the common examples of service management. So I'll just show you the basic config for service management because there is no. Once again, let me open my SAP. Here we have external service management. Right. So in case of external service management, there are few steps in config. Like in case of material procurement, the first step is to create material master. So similarly, in case of a service procurement, first of all, we'll have to create a service master. Now there are two type of service masters. Commonly it is called as SOR and non-SOR. The meaning of SOR is schedule of rates, and second is non-schedule of rates. For schedule of rates, suppose we have fixed up a rate for particular service. Let's say you hired one taxi, so you'll fix up a X cost for per hour basis or per kilometer basis. Okay, so this is called schedule of rates. So we can maintain our schedule of rates against our service master. Secondly, non-schedule of rates. Non-schedule of rates are activities where we cannot define a rate. Okay, or we can say that your frequent activities comes under the SOR category, while rarely used activities comes under non-SOR activity. Like you're hiring a taxi is your routine activity, so you can create a SOR code for that. The process of creation SOR or non-SOR code is similar. Okay, so for your routine activity, like as I said that taxi hiring, you can create a service code in a similar way other for other activities. But suppose if you are going for a project and you want some consultancy in designing of the project, okay, so that type of activity will be used rarely in your organization. So what you can do, you can create these activity as a non-SOR activity. Simply the non-SOR activity won't have any code. Here I can directly enter text in my purchase order and I can proceed it. Okay. So here first thing is service master. Define organizational status for service master. Okay. Here we'll have these three categories. Okay. Under status of basic data, status of controlling data, and status of purchasing data. What happened? Your service master will have three areas. First is basic data. In basic data, we'll enter normal details like description of a service, unit of measurement of service, and service group. While services, see whether it is MM on PP or PM or PS, any module, every module will have a close link with CO, controlling module, because on basis of this controlling module, we can generate a different reports. Okay, so here your service status based on controlling. In a similar way, your services based on purchasing. Because if you remember in Material Master, we can enter a person responsible for purchasing. That is your buyer code. Okay. So similarly, services we can also enter a person responsible for purchasing. Okay. So after that, we can block services for procurement. We can unblock services for procurement. So these all are your purchasing relevant areas. Then comes your service category. Okay, service category is nothing but it is similar like a material grouping. Okay, suppose if you have a here few examples are given: hardware services, software services, training and consultancy services, technical services. Okay, so these are your service categories where you can use this service, and the benefit of the service category is that you can give authorization on basis of this service category to particular user. Also, you can get reports on basis of the service categories. Then simply define number ranges for your service master. Then comes field selection. See, this field selection screen you will find everywhere in SAP. Okay, here we can make a field as an input field, required field, display field, or a hidden field. Okay, suppose if you want to hide something, so suppose if you want material group as a display field, so you simply change this to display. In this way, you can set your own layout or own template. Right after that, I'll show you the service code creation. So transaction code for service code creation is AC01. Okay. First of all, I'll tell you the basic things about services. Okay. See, here we call service as an activity, right? So first thing, for any master, we need a one number. So that number will represent a activity. Like in case of material, we create a material code. In a similar way, for services, we create one service code. So this is service code. After that, your description of service. Then service category. We have seen service categories as a hardware, here software, software services, technical services. So this is nothing but your category of services. By way, suppose if you have a 10 different type of services in your industry, okay, and you want a reporting of particular service, let's say a service related to software, okay, so you can simply select the service category in your reporting input, then you can get complete list of these services. After that, here we have a material slash service group. See, the material slash service group is similar like to your material group. Then comes your authorization group. Here we can have a different type of authorization, and on the basis of this authorization, we can control assignment of services in different purchase order. Like suppose I have one service called um, consultancy, design consultancy, and I want that this design consultancy service must be used by your planning team only. Okay, so what I can do, I can create one authorization group here, and this authorization group will be assigned to SAP login ID. Okay, so in this way you can control authorization of this type of services. Then comes your valuation class. May be aware about the valuation class. Valuation class is simply a key which play a role of bridge between your MM and FI. See, whatever we are doing, whether in MM, SD, PP, PM, every transaction must be recorded under your financial books. Okay, general ledgers. Okay, then how would system know the correct ledger? So for that we define a valuation class, and every valuation class will have a one defined GL account. So whenever we perform a transaction against your service, so first of all, on basis of service, system will determine valuation class here, this, and after that, when we execute our transaction, so system first go and check the valuation class in service master, and after that, it will determine the GL to be used for financial postings. Now, these are a few important things. Okay, here is a purchasing. Okay, see this purchase status. What happened? Suppose if you have a different, suppose you hired one uh, consultant for design engineering. Okay, so you used that service. Okay, now you want to block that service for procurement purpose. Okay, so we can use this functionality which is called purchasing status. Here we'll have an option blocked for procurement, blocked for task list, blocked for purchase order, blocked for purchasing. Okay, these all are, we can create options. Okay, so basically the blocking is to be done in area of procurement first. In case of services, it is only applicable to procurement, but in case of a material, it is also applicable to inventory management. Suppose you have one material, okay, and that material is available under your stock, but due to any reason you don't want anybody to use that material. So what you'll do, you can simply block that material by using this purchasing status. Okay, in a similar way, you can block or unblock services on by using this purchasing status. Here, in case of a material master, either we can block or unblock. There is no any third option is available. But in case of a services, we have a blocking key along with valid from date. Okay, suppose if I want to block this particular service inspection from 28th September, so I'll simply select my purchasing status along with valid from date. Okay, then comes your long text. What happen in case of a normal services, you'll have a simply one text. But suppose if you have one service, let's say, let us take example of building construction. Okay, in building construction, you totally you outsourced your total work. Okay, so one initially the foundation work comes. After that, your first floor work comes. Then wall, flooring. All these are different stages of your building construction. Okay, so either you can create a different services for every construction activity, or you can create a single service for as a construction of a building. Okay, but that construction of a building will have a one rate of per square feet or per square meter. Okay, but at the time of purchase order issuance, if you want to maintain a detail of work to be performed, so that detail we can enter in a long text here. What happens in case of a materials? Yeah, in case of a materials, we can enter a product specification in material long text. This is again a similar kind of thing. As I told you, the difference between service procurement and material procurement is that in service procurement we'll have a service master, while in material procurement we'll have a one material master. Okay, rest all things are almost same. Okay, so this is about the service master. Now next step is to create a purchase order. So I'll just show you a purchase order creation for service master, because For service master, the purchase order creation is a little different. Suppose this is my activity, so I'm simply copying my activity number. So transaction code for purchase order creation is ME21L. Okay, this is my normal purchase order screen, right? So what is the difference between material procurement and service procurement? And how would system know that this particular purchase order is belongs to material or services? So here we have a item category. Okay. If it is blank, then system will understand that it is a standard, means your normal procurement. We have seen the consignment process where we have used indicator K for consignment. In a similar way, we have used indicator L for subcontracting, right? So now in case of services, we'll select the item category B, which is nothing but your service procurement. So on basis of this item category, system will determine that this purchase order belongs to services. Okay. See, I hasn't entered anything. Here, I simply entered item category as a D. Now, system automatically picked up quantity as a 1. Okay, I haven't entered anything. Okay, and system also entered automatically picked up a unit of measurement which is AU. Okay, how? Now, this service procurement is a hierarchical activity. Okay, in case of a service procurement, we are not going to enter our details of service at item level, but we are going to enter detail of services under the item here. Okay, so first of all, I'll do one thing. I'll enter. Now comes your account assignment. So here, account assignment is nothing but where you want to book your cost. Okay, so I'm picking A is a cost center. Means I want to book my cost to a cost center. Now let's say now these are a normal entries. Okay, now it is asking me to enter either material or short text. So simply I am entering here one thing. Also, this is my service what I want to use here in this purchase order. Now as material is a plant dependent thing, here again service master is a plant dependent thing. See, as I entered my plant system opened this for me. Okay, what I can enter here? First of all, suppose if you have a SOR activity where SOR, if you have anything which is defined, this is my SOR activity. Here I am going to enter quantity for SOR activity. This is my hourly. I entered hourly. So it means I'm going to pay inspection charges on per hour basis. Let's say for 1 hour, I'll pay 2 euro. Right? Now this is my quantity. See, now here my net price is 2. Suppose this is my SOR, which okay. Now I have some non-routine activities like I'll enter here foundation work. Okay. For this foundation work, let's say I'm using unit of measurement as a square meter. Okay. So this foundation work, let's say it is of 100 square meter, and cost of this per square meter, let's say I'm putting 5. This is my gross price. Okay. So now see my total purchase order cost, well, net price is 502. Okay. In a similar way, I can enter a restriction of wall, flooring, electrical work. Okay. So in this way, I can enter a different type of activities. These all are activities which will be performed to get or to construct a building. It means in service procurement, we can divide our activity into small parts. And here, suppose here I'm entering simply one text code, sorry, cost center. But just assume a situation that if we want to capture a cost of electrical work in another cost center, let's say 2000. So you can enter a different cost center. It means for each and every activity, you can enter a separate cost center. Okay. So, but in case of material procurement, the concept of cost center comes at level of material issuance, while in case of a service procurement, the concept of cost center or the cost center where you want to book can be entered at your purchase order level itself. See, my total purchase order cost is 836 euros. Okay. Now, this is my purchase order. Here I have entered activity which is related to inspection, foundation work, construction of wall, flooring, and electrical work. This first one where I have created a one service number, it is called SOR activity, while other are non-SOR activity. It means routine activity or non-routine activity. Okay, I am saving this purchase order. Okay, this is my purchase order number. See, this is my purchase order in display mode. Here, still I have a PO quantity as a one activity unit. One, this AU is activity unit. Okay, means at this level I will have a total cost of my purchase order, and here system will show me PO quantity as a one only. Okay, it means my billing and confirmation of work is to be done at this level, at your service level. Okay. So next step is to create. Suppose when we talk about the material procurement, suppose you as a buyer, if you have ordered a material, okay, then that material will be received by your store team. Okay. So what store team will do? They'll simply make one GRN, that is goods receipt notification, and they'll confirm receipt of material in our company. Okay. But in case of a service procurement, store team has no role because the person who is issuing the purchase order can only tell about the status of these activities. Suppose here, just assume a situation that this purchase order is not relevant to final billing. It is relevant to partial billing. Suppose as per agreement or as per the discussion between buyer and vendor, for this foundation work he can give or he can raise invoice on weekly basis, right? It means there will be a multiple invoices against this foundation work. Okay. And you are a person who is working in a field, so you will check that whether this foundation work, whatever he has built, is correct or not. Okay. So for that, we need a one confirmation from a user who is responsible. Let's say there is an activity called taxi hiring. Okay. And the taxi hiring activity can be used by anybody in the organization. Okay. You don't need to reach to approach to your admin department for taxi. Okay. So suppose you raise one purchase order for taxi hiring. So when you receive the bill, so then you can only confirm that how much kilometer for how much kilometer you have used that taxi. Okay. So this is again a similar thing. So after that, our next step is to create a service entry sheet. Service entry sheet, first of all, service entry sheet is nothing but it is a confirmation, it is a document which tell us about the confirmation of work. Okay. Like in case of a goods receipt, as I told you, material receipt, by GRN we confirm the material receipt. So here in service procurement, by the service entry creation, we confirm service receiving. So transaction for this is ML81 and here. Now I'll click on other purchase order and I'll simply enter my purchase order number. Okay, so initially see purchase order number is linked to it. Now I'm going to click on create service entry sheet. See, it is open to me. Now, one way is that suppose if you have any unplanned service, okay, so you can directly enter unplanned service here in short text and you can process its bill. Okay, that is for unplanned service. Unplanned services which was not part of your purchase order. Okay, but suppose if you want to plan for if you want to bill for only planned services. So suppose if you want to go for the your existing services or plant services, so simply click on this button, service selection. If I click on this button, so it will show me all services part of my purchase order. This is short description. So let's say I'm putting as a now from where you want to copy the services. Okay, this is about the service selection. So definitely we'll copy services from a purchase order. See, all these services are part of my purchase order. Suppose if you want to copy all services, so simply select all services and click on this copy button. And if you don't want to copy all services, so you can simply select a single service. Let's say I want to select this foundation work, so I selected the foundation work. I'm copying. See, as I copied, it is under my service entry sheet creation screen. But here, system copied the complete total quantity. Now, I don't want to go for total quantity. I simply want to go for partial quantity. Let's say 20 units. Okay. So I entered my quantity. Then we'll have to enter a period for which this billing or this service is availed. Okay. We can say this is a period of our billing. Then we can enter a service location where this activity is performed. So let's say I'm entering admin block. Okay, now I'm going to save it. See, as I saved it, system has generated one entry sheet. If I open my purchase order in display mode, so it will show me my entry sheet number. Okay, as I told you, entry sheet is only a confirmation. But suppose you have confirmed that you have the foundation work for 20 square meter is completed. Right? Now you'll take a printout of this service entry sheet and you'll attach this printout to invoice raised by your vendor, and finally you'll send these two documents to your account team for processing of bill. Now what account team will do? They'll simply open this service entry sheet. Let's say this is my service entry sheet number. So I'm copying this number. Here we have an option of other purchase order. You can also enter your entry sheet number directly. Okay. Now accounts team has received your service entry sheet printout along with invoice. So what they can do, they'll simply click on change button. Okay, here we have a one flag of accept. Because right now what we have done, we have simply created service entry sheet and saved it. It means we have parked our document. We haven't posted it. There are two things, parking and posting. So now accounts team will post this document. So for posting, after checking this bill and all this thing, they'll simply click on this green flag to accept it. Okay. See, the messages will be accepted. Now if I save it, see updating data. Now see the service entry sheet saved, acceptance document posted, and the status of service entry sheet changed to accepted. Now, if I again open my purchase order and if I refresh it, so system will add one more document here, which is nothing but my acceptance document. So see here we have a two documents. First document is your service entry sheet number. Second document is your material or sorry the service posting document. If I open the first document, this is my service entry sheet and second document is your accounting document. Let's say if I show you the accounting entries, this is your accounting entry. Okay, so see, these two GLs are this GL is debited, this is credited. Now, if you want to take a further billing for same, so I'm creating another service entry sheet. In a similar way, I entered my purchase order number, clicked on create entry sheet button, clicked on service selection, copied my service. I have first created service entry sheet for 20 quantities. So system showing me remaining quantity. Suppose if I want to add few more services here, let's say now I want to include these three services also. Okay. Now I'll enter my period for which the service is availed, location. You can also enter acceptance data. Suppose if you have any bill reference number, so you can enter bill number, let's say 12-2016. If you want to pass any other information related to this document, so you can enter additional info here. And you can save it. Here you can directly accept it also. Okay, there are two things. Either you'll create it and you'll create and park it. After that, finance teams or accounting team will accept it, or you can directly accept it also. Suppose now I'm directly accepting. Okay, see, this is a one-step process. Earlier we saw the two-step process. Now, if I go back and refresh my purchase order, so this is my purchase order. Okay, I have posted two service entry sheets, 752, 753, along with I have a two material document. Okay, this is simply a material document. If you can see the movement type 101, 101 is used for receipt. Okay, so if we are receiving anything, it will be recorded under with reference to 101 movement type, whether it is material or services. Okay, so that was about the service management. Now, I'll show you one report which is related to services. Okay, suppose if you want to have a list, if you want to know the detail of particular service number, okay, like what are the different purchase order raised and what is the state of purchase order. So for that we use one transaction which is ME2S. Okay, here I'm simply entering my service number and I'm executing it. So see, it is showing me that these many purchase orders are already being already created against this service. See, this is our purchase order which we have created, construction of a building. Okay, here we'll have a two thing. By using this report, we can get the list of work to be done. See, here, this is my purchase order number. This is my item number. This is my service code. Quantity, what I entered is 1. This is your PO quantity. Net value, 2 euros. After that, we have a entered quantity. Entered quantity means quantity for which you have created service. Okay. And entered value. After that, accepted quantity and accepted value, because service entry sheet creation is a two-way process or two-step process. First entering, then accepting. Okay. Then third is invoicing. Suppose if I open this purchase order, see, this is the structure of my purchase order for external services. Okay, I'll open purchase order from. Suppose if you want to check status of particular purchase order, so you can simply enter your purchase order number and you execute it. See, this is a status of my purchase order. This is my purchase order number. Under this purchase order, I'll have a 5 services. Okay, inspection, foundation work, construction, flooring, electrical, right? And these are the quantities for which I raised my purchase order. And these are the values. And these are the entered quantities, right? See, we haven't entered anything against construction of wall. Our purchase order quantity was 12, but we haven't created any service entry sheet. So system is showing me entered quantity as a 0. In a similar way, if entered quantity is 0, then you cannot accept it. So accepted is 0. In a similar way, your invoiced is also 0. So we'll have a different type of reports to analyze your services, to analyze your purchase order. So I'll just show you one comparison between your material procurement and service procurement. The first thing is in material procurement is creation of material master. Here it will be creation of service master, or you may go may not go with may or may not go with without service master also, because we can enter a direct text. Okay. Second step is, let's say, to create a purchase order. Then third is material receipt. Here we call it service receipt. Here we use DRM. Here we use service entry sheet. Okay, if I tell you about the transaction code which is to be used, so here we'll use, let's say I'm using MM01. Here it will be XC01. Here purchase order creation, same transaction code. But in service master, I'll use item category as a K, and account assignment as a item category as a D, account assignment as a K. Then material receipt and service receipt. Here for material receipt we use transaction MIGO, we go, while for service entry we use transaction ML81. Okay, so this is about the service procurement side.